Hi, I'm Elizabeth Cantey, and this month's theme is entitled Reaching Higher. And tonight, we rise. We are rising higher to gain a greater understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe, pushing past our comfort zone, using our understanding in innovative ways to move us forward, while including and benefiting from the wisdom and experiences we've gained along the way. We rise. Let's remember that we are called from within, from our heart of hearts, from our very soul, to rise, to transcend our old paradigms, our old ways of being, and include only those ways of being that serve us in our daily life now and serve the evolution of our consciousness, and thereby contributing to the evolution of consciousness on the planet. There has never been a more important time than now to dive into our spiritual consciousness, our wholeness. We are pulled in so many directions. We are divided on so many fronts. We're stretched to our limits in understanding and compassion. And I don't know about you, but patience. And the reason we come together every week is to lift each other up in these spiritual principles and practices, and to become inspired to rise above the tediousness that some of the situations that our life is presenting us. When we can rise above the negative commentary that is out there and in here, the judgments, the blame, the fear, and when we rise above that within ourselves, we reveal that peace and love and joy that is within ourselves. And we become the way showers. We are the way showers for peace and love and joy on the planet. We contribute to the healing for ourselves, for our families. It all starts with us. We don't wait for someone else to start. It starts with how we rise within ourselves, and we bring that higher consciousness into our daily interactions with our children, our parents, our coworkers, our partners. You know, it starts with our Facebook page. It starts on our texts. Let's not wait for someone else to show us how it's done, to live our lives in love and peace and joy. It starts with how we respond to the situations, the events, and the circumstances in our life. Let's rise. As I read today's theme, I was reminded that as infants, we're born with that feeling that everything that's happening is us, that we are our parents, our mothers, our fathers. Like, it's all one big experience. My nephew has a newborn, and it's so much fun watching her be the center and the circumference of her world. And we were like that at one point. And then at a young age, you know, we grow out of that necessarily. As toddlers, we discover we're not our parents, we're not our mother, we're not our father, we're not the environment. We soon learn that we are different. We begin to identify that we have separate thoughts. We have our thoughts, our body, our emotions. We become individualized. And most of us leave it there, right there. We're individualized. Our schools, our parents, our religions don't even teach that we are more than that. We just haven't gone far enough. We know that we're not our environment. We find out that we have our own thoughts, our own likes and dislikes, but then we think that's who I am. I am my body. I am tall, short, old, young. I am my thoughts. I am hungry. I'm smart. I'm confused. I am my emotions. I'm sad. I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm happy. And then our history becomes who we think we are, how we identify ourselves. I don't know about you guys, but by the time I got into my 20s, I felt so separated. I didn't even know where to begin to find my true identity. I knew it wasn't in my religion. I knew it wasn't in anything that I was reading or studying in college. I just felt separated from this thing that I called God. And I felt separated from each and every person. And I know that that feeling causes so much suffering in the world. The next level of our development is really knowing experientially that we are not separate, that we are not just a body, a form, that just a personality, that we are, in fact, you've heard this before, spiritual beings, whole, perfect, and complete, having the human experience. So we rise into our whole self. We transcend the negative conditioning of our past limiting beliefs and experiences, and we rise into our true nature. We release the ideas of separation and we rise. The CSL Global Vision states that we see a world in which every person lives in alignment with their highest spiritual principle, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individually and collectively, we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. We envision humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence, to us, each of us awakening to our spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where every person discovers their personalized power and ability to create a life that works for each individually within a world that works for everyone. Now, A Course in Miracles states awareness or transcendence brings something of another dimension to the three-dimensional human being. In this awareness, there is wholeness. In this awareness, there is totality. Awareness is of one life, one God. Well, many of us for years, decades even, have had decades and years of practicing separation. But when we come together in groups like this, and meetings and meditations, we come together to remember our wholeness. And even more importantly, is that possible? To live from this wholeness, to allow it to influence every aspect of our daily life. Because we are not just whole sometimes when we meditate, when we pray or come together. We are and always have been and forever will be whole. So we're asked from within, from our self, to expand our awareness and to rise above these physical and mental levels of experience and existence, to not attach to our thoughts or our conditioned responses to the events and circumstances in our life. And through the spiritual practices, we realize wholeness and unity, and we bring it to every situation. We start to rest more and more often in that spacious awareness of consciousness. This is such a powerful place to live from. When we transcend the effects of our past conditioning and we live in that state of awareness more and more, we create a life filled with joy and love and peace. We're in harmony with life and not fighting it, not being a victim by it. We are it. We discover our personal power through wholeness and connection. We overcome the ideas of duality, and that means that we overcome the idea that there is God or spirituality or presence and something else. which implies God, that there is something other than God. Ernest Holmes said, an atmosphere of goodness, truth, beauty, harmony, and reality comes in such a degree as we come to believe and understand and make use of the invisible presence. To be spiritually minded is to be whole-minded, and to be whole-minded is to be holy. It means we realize the complete unity of God and its creation. We understand the complete unity and the interrelationship of all life. In other words, we've stopped the separation, and we recognize that everything I see out there is one in, one with, and one as spirit itself and as myself. I am who thou art. Thou art who I am. We recognize that we are like the water in the ocean. We may see ourselves as separate currents or waves that have formed in this vast ocean. But when we rise, we see no separation of essence, of being, of God. So the important question, as we come together to do this, is how do we live this message of rising up, transcending the physical and the mental, the conditioning of our past? What can we do when we see things that distress us or make us feel attacked or make us feel like attacking? What do we do with illness, dis-ease, or the feelings we have of lack or scarcity? Well, first, we rise. We rise into our awareness, no matter how long it takes, and it can take a second, a moment, a breath. We take that time to rise up into our spiritual self and claim and declare that we will not engage in anything less than love and peace. There's always a way to express who we are and our intention of unity, wholeness, and oneness. When we remember this, we rise. And then we bring that peace, the love, the clarity, the harmony into all of our circumstances. It's a decision, a choice. And when we transcend the limiting beliefs and the old conditioning, we regain that power to choose, to respond rather than react to the from the old conditioning. It may be the current headlines, the Facebook post, the neighbor, the family member, whatever it is that challenges us to rise and to make that decision to rest and reside in the strength and the power and the clarity that is available to us. We'll take it. Take anything and everything, every opportunity to turn within and to rise up. I remember when I was doing A Course in Miracles a long time ago, before iPhones, I bought a Casio watch. I had to set it every hour because I was so caught up in living that I had no idea the time would fly by and I would not remember to take a moment to rise, to turn within, to be still and know. And I did. I bought the Casio, set it for every hour. And now, I mean, there was a time not that long ago where I would set my iPhone. There was a time I would set it for every 15 minutes when my son was ill. Letting go of the stress, letting go of the doing, and resting every 15 minutes in a moment of being, so that I would have the clarity, the strength, the power to be in harmony with everything that was going on and not resisting. So what are you going to do this week to remind yourself to rise? Maybe take a notebook, bring a notebook with you, and just jot down the things that knock you out of your peace or confuse you or send you into that little flurry. And just notice them, maybe write them down. Maybe you can't change them in that moment, but every evening, reframe that event. Write it down in that notebook and reframe the event. What could you have done in love, in peace, in harmony with the situation? You know, we're not just called to rise in meditation or in a group. We're asked to bring that wholeness, the clarity, the love into every aspect of our life. And I'll finish with this quote from Joel Goldsmith, who said, "It is possible for anyone to change the trend of their life, not by hearing or reading about the truth, but by making it an active part of consciousness in daily experience until it becomes a habit every moment of the day instead of an occasional thought." Brother Lawrence talked about that. He spoke about the unceasing prayer, but it's not a prayer to someone for something. The unceasing prayer is the rising up into our spiritual wholeness, into the knowing the truth that is available there. Our affirmation this week is, maybe you'll write this down in your notebook or on your iPhone. I rise above any limiting beliefs and past conditionings now, right now, into my whole and complete self. And I respond to life with love. Thanks for listening. I'm Elizabeth Cantey for the Center for Spiritual Living, Jacksonville. And if you find any value in these teachings, thanks. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and the donate button if you're so moved. Leave a comment in this post on how you'll rise up this week and how you'll rest in that wholeness, bringing it into your every situation. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to share with you. We rise together.